It's so funny. Was anybody waiting for Richard Gere to just come running in here with Deborah Winger just clattering through the room? Now that would have been a real treat. Okay, so, so this whole month has been about the idea of letting something bigger than you live you. Have you all had that working for you this month? Yeah. Just letting something inside of you live you from the inside out. I think we spend so much of our lives living from the outside in. How's it going out there? And then I react. How is this working in my life? And then I live from that. And yet, if we really were to let love live us up, and I use that specifically up, unlimited potential, unlimited pure power, to let love, let that thing inside of me live me. Now, I can tell you, to be very honest, as a recovered, not a recovering, but as a recovered control freak, it's amazing how quickly they turn, really. And those that are going, oh, still apparently think I'm working on it, I'll deal with you tomorrow. But no, I am a recovered control freak. I really am, because even as I start to control, I know it. That's recovered. I may still have a ways to go in terms of really living it full time, but I am. But as a recovered control freak, I know how hard it can be to take our mind out of the equation for a moment and let something feel me. Let me think about that. Let something be felt from the inside, right? To let something live through me where I'm not telling it what to do. And in a science where we have spent so much time learning how to speak our word, tell the universe what we want, show it how we want it to show up, it's time for us to relax a little and stop spending so much time telling the world what we want and actually living what we want, because every time we say what we want, what we don't get often is that what we want is right here. And we're never going to experience it until we start to experience it. That's the mental equivalent. That's how we get this thing of the law of attraction wrong. We have taken the perspective, the law of attraction is that great law that gets me to get what I want out here. I can attract what I want into me, but we forget. The whole concept of the law of attraction is the mental equivalent, whereas whatever it is that I wish to experience, I must be equal to. I have to feel it. I have to be it first. Then it shows up. So love lives me up to the degree that I'm willing to let love live me up. So the title of my talk today is An Unexpected Purpose. An unexpected purpose. So, how many of you have purpose in your life? What are the rest of you doing? Did you say I have 10 purposes?
At least
10 purposes. Oh, how many of you have more than one purpose? Yeah. Oh, that's sad. Okay, so I loved what Reverend Jamie said, because actually it's interesting if, which one of it that said the Dalai Lama, our only purpose is to be happy. Ralph Waldo Emerson, happy and joyful and peaceful and all this other stuff. But Thomas Troward said, our only purpose in life is to be joyful. That's it. And really, if you look at all of them and distill it down, what they're really saying is our only purpose in life is to allow our authentic selves to live us. That's it. The rest of it, that's just a to-do list. I bet if I sat and talked with you individually, each one of you, your purpose in life would be some part of a to-do list, as opposed to what a true, authentic purpose is. And frankly, we're all on the same page of what a true, authentic purpose is, because we all have the exact same purpose, and that is to let love live us, to just live in that conscious state of joy and happiness. And one man's happiness is different from another man's happiness because we have this thing called individuality. We have this thing where each one of us, as an expression of God, gets to express from our own unique personalities, the personality that we have created throughout our entire lifetime. For the way we react to something changes our personality in any given moment. And that personality changes the way we think. And how we think changes the way we believe. And our beliefs create everything. So really, that's the whole purpose of life, to really just let life live us. So, an unexpected purpose. So, I this week went to Salt Lake City, to the Centers for Spiritual Living conference. How many of you know that we are a part of an organization called Centers for Spiritual Living? How many of you don't really know what that is or care? That's hysterical. Only one person raised his hand and he went, whatever. Thank you for that. Most people we find in our churches don't really know much about the Centers for Spiritual Living. We just know about our spiritual community. But every year, we ministers go to a convention where all the ministers get together. And I have to be very honest, and I'm going to be really honest and transparent today about some of my feelings about all of this. I wasn't really sure why I was going to this convention. I think religion as a whole becomes this political organization that I'm really not feeling much about. I don't feel much about religion. I feel a lot about spirituality. And I feel a lot about what we do here on a Sunday. But the politics of religion, it always turns me off. I'm always not interested in knowing what's behind the curtain in some ways, because as soon as I find out what's behind the curtain, I find another religion. It's just been the way it is. Catholicism, oh, not going there. Now I know what you're about. Christianity, not happening for me. Nope, I don't see Jesus that way. Buddhism, wow, you're all chanting for things, not going to work for me. Just so, and now that's all judgmental, which I no longer am. I am also a recovered judgmentalist. But I will tell you that I still have opinions. Judgments mean I don't want them all to go to hell. But opinions just means that I know what I know, and I feel what I feel, and I think what I think. And I now see the commonality in all of these religions, and I see the joy and the love at the center of every single one of them, which is why this is now the Global Truth Center. So that we can be a home for any religion that wants to come here and celebrate love. You can stay in your religion and yet still come here and celebrate with us, because we are all one thing. I get it. So when I go to the conference at Centers for Spiritual Living, I don't often hear that type of ideology. I don't usually hear that being spoken from our leaders. In fact, what I'm hearing from our leaders these days is, we have the greatest teaching on the planet, which just makes me insanely upset. Because now I'm just back in Catholicism, where the Catholics are saying we're the only religion, and if you don't believe us, or the Christians that say, if you are not born again and do not take Jesus as your personal Savior, you're all going to hell. And there's no such thing as hell to begin with. So for any religion to get up and say, we are the best religion on the planet, really seems divisive to me. And it feels like a way to keep us all separate. And I'm just not about that. So I'm going to this conference, and I'm thinking, why am I going? I know people are going to piss me off. They're going to say things, and I'm going to want to run the stage and pull them off the stage. But I won't, because I'm like that. I'm a nice person. Sort of. I did, however, let love live me up during the business meeting when I really got up to ask a tiny little question and ended up telling you everything I just told you, to everybody. But the good news was, I was able to say to everyone in the room, stop saying we're the best religion on the planet and start living the teaching. People can make up their own minds, right? And that's the reaction I got, except from the leaders who were looking at me like they wanted to kill me. But the rest of us, we all do feel the same. The overwhelming feeling of this organization is the truth. It is the truth. We're just getting a little off, and I hope that we can all bring them back by speaking our voices and saying, this is what it is, folks. Oneness doesn't mean we have the one religion. Oneness, a world that works for everyone, is the new theme of Centers for Spiritual Living. A world that works for everyone. And I know I applaud that too. But here's the problem. The subtext to that is a world that works for everyone, and we will show you how to make that happen. If this teaching will make a world that works for everyone, because once they all get what we know, we will be a world that works for everyone. No! I don't want to tell my Baha'i friends that until you become religious science, you are not going to be in a world that works for everyone. Frankly, the Baha'i faith has so much to offer. I would, probably if I had to choose my next religion, and God, I hope I don't, but if I have to choose my next religion, I might go Baha'i, except that they don't like gay people. But other than that, right? So, it's not that they don't like people. Actually, they love gay people. You just can't be gay. You have to You can be a gay person. Anyway, I love the Baha'i faith, but I'm not going to choose that particular path because I'm married to a man. But where am I in this talk? So I'm at the Centers for Spiritual Living conference, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, why am I here? And when I was leaving, my husband, who is not the quietest person on the planet, who is very outspoken in what he believes and what he thinks, he had said to me as I was getting up that morning, he's like, why are you going? You know you're going to be annoyed. You're going to come home annoyed, and that's going to annoy me. He's like, so why are you going? And I said, I don't know exactly, but there's a reason for me to be there. I don't know what it is. And he said, well, let me know when you find out. So I went. Well, the second day there, as I was lining up all the reasons why I shouldn't have gone, I was at this workshop of a gentleman who was teaching this book called Your One Thing, The One Thing. How many of you have read The One Thing? It's a national bestseller. You'll hear about it because when I finish it, I will talk about it. It turned my whole mind around about living, the way I live in this world, the way I operate in the world. Not spiritually based, actually based on the way I operate in a relative world. And I had to literally send Kevin a text in the middle of this workshop apologizing for the way I have lived the last 26 years with him. Because he is a man who really lives a certain way, and it's very orderly, and it's very clear, and he's not like, sometimes I can be very, let's just let it unfold. And he's like, well, okay, let it unfold, Kevin. This is Kevin. He says, let it unfold, James, means Kevin will take care of it. And I suddenly got that he was right. And I was sitting there in this, and I texted him, I went, I'm going to now apologize to you for the 26 years I have letted our life unfold. Leaded, like leaded's a word. I have let our life unfold. And he wrote me back and he said, well, now I see why you went. So we're in this workshop. It was a great workshop. And then the next day happened, and when I got up to ask my question, and I ended up really saying what I needed to say, and getting a lot of support. A lot of people afterwards coming up to me saying, why don't you run for leadership? And I was like, because that's not what I want to do. I want to do what I do here. Leadership takes you so far away from your own church, and I'm all about you and us. So, no, okay. So, you're welcome. So, Kevin says to me, wow, isn't that amazing how you can go somewhere and just find your unexpected purpose? Well, I'm always looking for my talk titles. So I was like, oh my God, turn to Connie, because he was sitting in the office with Connie, turn to Connie and tell her my talk title this Sunday is Unexpected Purpose. And he said, okay, so that's how I got to this talk title. But then, as soon as you name it, you claim it, and it shows up everywhere. So, yesterday, I'm sitting in my room, my house. And on Saturdays these days, I take some time to really just calm down because I know I have a show Saturday night, and I had a show Friday night, and this run of Sissy Boy has used a lot of my energy, and I'm happy it has. A lot of people have really responded well. They've been moved by it. It has helped them with their own journey. So I'm sitting at my door, and someone knocks on my door. And how many of you really expect unexpected visitors here in town? Does anybody really expect? This isn't like, we're not in June Cleaver's neighborhood where they just pop by for a visit. People don't normally pop by for a visit in my neighborhood. So the door rings and I think, oh, maybe it's a neighbor. They need something. So I open the door and there is this, I know now, 19-year-old young man standing there. And first I thought, well, he's going to sell me a book. No, magazine things, all those things. And then he hands me this thing that says, have you accepted Jesus as your personal Savior? And in my mind, I was like, oh no, James, do not have a conversation with this person. Really, you are just primed to have this conversation. But he was so sweet and so beautiful. And so I thought I would cut it short, and I said, actually, I'm the pastor of a church, which is not Christian-based in terms of Jesus. I said, but I totally respect you, and I love you, and I respect what you're doing. And I think it's great that you're spending your Saturday afternoon going out for what you believe in. That's real purpose. And I thought that was going to be the end of the conversation. Wrong. He handed me another pamphlet. And he said, well, I want you to read this because I think this might help you in your ministry. And I'm like, oh, I can feel it. Here it comes. Here it comes. This boy has no idea what's inside of me. And so I said, you know, I think, just so you know, I grew up Catholic. He goes, oh, the Catholics have it all wrong. I was like, oh, here we go. And I said, well, frankly, no one has it wrong. I said, you know, we're all teaching the same thing. No, not unless you accept Jesus as your personal Savior. We are all sinners. We are all sinners, and I have been saved by Jesus. And he went off on me. And at this point, I don't have a wall to do it. At this point, I'm leaning on the wall like, oh, dear, I was right in the middle of scandal. I hope I can remember what Kerry Washington was saying when I go back. And so he's talking, and I got to be honest, though. Love lifted me up, because all I felt for this boy was love. All I felt for this boy was love, as much as I disagreed with everything he was saying to me. And so this went on for a half an hour. And I kept answering his questions and talking to him. And at one point I thought, you know what, this is going to cut this conversation really short. I said, you know, here's the deal. I'm married to a beautiful man, and his eyes was like, I said, I'm married to a beautiful man. I have 2 beautiful children. I have a beautiful home. I love my life. I believe life is to be loved, and life is to be lived from a state of joy. I love my life. Why would I want to turn it around, any of it? Because I love the way it's going, and I love what I believe, and I love my church, and I love the people that show up on a Sunday morning or throughout the week or online, by the way. Hello, everyone out there. I love all of it. And he said, well, perhaps because you're going to hell. And I said, well, I would have to believe in a hell. He said, you don't have to believe in it, it's there. I said, well, and then I went into scientific. I said, you know, if it's all energy anyway. I said, do you believe that God is everywhere? He said, yes, God is everywhere. I said, then how can you take yourself out of the equation? If God is everywhere, and now I'm turning into, like, you know, Jesse Jackson. I'm like going at it. I said, if God is everywhere, why are you not in that picture? He says, well, I am, but no, fully in that picture. If God is everywhere present in all things, fully, right? And he's like, yes. I said, fully. God is present fully, because if there's an iota of place where God is not, then something's up. That means you believe that there is God and something else, but there's only God, right? And he's like, yes. I said, okay, so God is everywhere. You're in that picture. God is everything you are. All you are is God. And he went, well, that's true, but. I said, no, there's no but. All you are is God. And it's like, and as I'm talking to him, I'm going, oh my God, I do this every Sunday. We're all trying to have this struggle. I mean, how many of you are still struggling with I am God, right? So, wow, good, you're getting less and less every Sunday. Of course, the people at home are all going, I'm kidding. First of all, hello to Belgium and to Scotland and all these people that are writing me saying, please talk to us on Sundays. So hi, Alan Marcy, who stayed in bed today. Just letting y'all know. So we're having this conversation, and I'm going to get all emotional now. And all of a sudden, you're going to love this, Sarah. All of a sudden, what came to me was that this is my purpose in life. I can sit here and talk to the choir every Sunday, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Because I want the choir to get better at singing. Think about that. But as I know now why I was so upset at CSL. They are so interested in building us from the inside, making us stronger. But there is an entire world out there that doesn't know who it is. There is an entire world out there, and young people that believe that they are sinners, that believe that they are worthless, and they are only worth anything through their relationship with Jesus Christ. That's who they believe, that's what they believe, that's who they think they are. And I know all of us have a little piece of that left in us. And I am not going to stop my work here in this room or in any of these rooms. But there I am right in the middle of watching Scandal and standing in a doorway listening to a boy who believes so much more what he believes than most of the people in this movement believe what they believe. And I was like, that's why we're not growing, because that belief is powerful. That belief is strong. It may be a little misguided, I feel, but it is strong. It is purposeful. They know who they are. And they know what they want. And I got it. We have got to take this teaching, Joselito, out into the streets, not to proselytize, not to say you need to come our way. No. Wouldn't it be great if Christianity suddenly came to the awareness that what Jesus was saying is that we are all God? Let Christianity be what it is, but grow it. Allow it to expand. Allow it all to expand. I believe it is expanding. So my purpose, this unexpected purpose of this week, I didn't even want to go to the conference, and yet there I am being nudged to go to the conference. I show up, I say what I have to say. Like me or don't like me, I don't care. I am not here to win a personality contest, because frankly, I won't win it. I will lose that contest, because I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And so when I get home and I explain all this to Kevin, and then he goes off to work Saturday, and this boy shows up at my door, by the time the conversation was over, he looked confused. And I felt bad that he looked confused. And I probably looked confused to him too, if we were really being honest. But when it was over, he said to me, would you like me to give you my cell phone so that you can call me if you have any questions about what we talked about? And I said, no. I said, no, but my church is called the Global Truth Center. Should you have any questions about what you've heard? And there was a moment where he just didn't want to leave. He was standing there, and I was like, so nice to meet you. He had a very firm handshake. They all do. And I said to him, so what are you going to do with your life? He says, I'm going to become a minister. And I was like, oh, okay, good. I would love to have a minister like that on my staff, who relentlessly believed what we believed so strong, so powerfully, that nothing could shake that belief. Because with that belief, we can move mountains. We can walk on water. We can do everything Jesus did. Because frankly, Jesus is at the heart and soul of this teaching. What that man taught was the divinity of God in all mankind. It's exactly what we are teaching. What was turned into religions that surround him, that's a whole different story. And it's beginning to become the same story about Centers for Spiritual Living, which is really why I have such a big issue. Because I don't want to be the next religion that thinks it's the best religion. I want to be a spiritual center that knows who it is and opens its doors to everyone and respects every path. So I asked him, I finally realized at the end of the conversation that I didn't know his name. I said, what is your name? And he said, Christian. And I said to him, is that your given name? Thinking he's going to say he picked it. He goes, that was my given name. And then I thought, thinking about you, Sarah, because Sarah grew up in a very Christian household, a Christian life, I thought to myself, well, what do your parents teach? Did you come up with it? And he went, my family, here's what really got me. He said, my family are not religious at all. We went to no religions. I got this when I went to college. So there are people just looking for a path, looking for a purpose in life, looking for a reason, looking for a way, looking for themselves within. And you know who those people are? Every one of us. And it is time for us to unapologetically stand in this thing, I am God. Understanding it in a way that is inclusive, not exclusive. Understanding it in a way that brings love to it, not divisiveness. And that's what I got as my purpose. So did I have to go to Salt Lake City? Interesting, of all places, Salt Lake City. Every person that waited on me all week were Mormons. And I always said, Jonathan was like, really, do you have to ask everyone if they're a Mormon? And I was like, yeah, I really want to know. So every waiter, I was like, so are you a Mormon? They're like, yes. Are you a Mormon? Yes. I was like, this is really cool. We are surrounded in this consciousness of Mormonism, which, again, at its heart and at its soul is based in love. It's all based in love. My ministerial students just taught me 8 weeks of world religions. Each one of them got to stand up and teach for an entire hour about a world religion. So I got to hear about Confucianism, Sikhism, thank you, Karen, Catholicism, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, all of it. And here's what I'm doing for our congregation. This summer, we are doing a series. Every single one of them is going to be teaching that class on a Wednesday night, so that we can get to decide whichever religion we want to know about, or learn them all. And I hope I see you all there at all of them. I will be at most of them, depending on my schedule. But every Wednesday night throughout this summer, there will be some religion being taught at this center, so that we really are the Global Truth Center. And I have to tell you, every single one of them was amazing. Amazing. You know, Sharon Kelly did such a brilliant job when she got up there and she talked about the one that we most have in the headlines these days, which is Islam. And the sense she made out of it and the brilliance of this woman's mind. I'm so excited about her ministry. The brilliance, the way she has of teaching that is unapologetic. You don't push her off a point at all. But she lovingly brings you back to her point. So really take advantage of this. So my purpose, my unexpected purpose, it has to be one thing. I'll talk more about that as I go through these weeks of reading this book. But I'm kind of over having 30 purposes in my life because it pulls me in many, many, many different directions and kind of dilutes what I really want to be doing. My one purpose, you're seeing it right now, right here, right now. I've had a lot of interest in taking my show all over the country, taking it to New York, and that's just not my purpose in life. I have spoken my word as a sissy boy, and next Sunday when I do it for the last time in front of a large audience of everyone, since we're doing a 4-camera shoot for the world, I'll get to say what I need to say about that particular part of my life. But this is my purpose, and I'm really grateful that I know what it is. Is it unexpected? Yeah, it's unexpected. It changes daily in an unexpected way, which is so funny. I walk in and you guys say, it's going to be unexpected today. So I have a quote for you to close my talk out, and it's from Steve Jobs. And I want you to think about your purpose here right now. If you had to distill it, if I was going to say to you, Zach, what is your one, don't answer me, this is just for your head. What is your one purpose in life? One purpose. If you had to pick one, you could not have two. One purpose. What would that be? What would be the one purpose by which all else fell under that umbrella? What's the one purpose? It gets easy to live your life when you know that one purpose and you're clear on what that one purpose is. You know whether to say yes or no because does it fit under the umbrella or not? And that doesn't mean that purpose can't shift to a different purpose. I'm not saying we are stuck with a purpose. We weren't born with a purpose other than to enjoy life. But you get to decide. And the mind that can decide and be clear will be as powerful as Christian, who shifted my entire day. I couldn't even finish Scandal. Really. I was like, well, that's out of the window. Now I've got to sit with this. So Steve Jobs said this: your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know it when you find it. And I would like to change that to, you'll know it when it finds you. Alex Robert Holmes read this quote from Ernest Holmes this morning, and he printed it out for me. It's this: the eyes brighten with friendliness and good cheer when animated by the light of love, joy, faith, or noble purpose. Your entire world shifts. Your whole beingness shifts and changes when you find a purpose that is not driven by monetary success, that is not driven even by the word success, but a purpose that is driven by this thing called purpose. Love lifts me up. Well, love is an acronym for purpose. A synonym for purpose. Love and purpose are one and the same thing. Because when you are letting that live you up, you know your purpose. Love is our purpose. Love is who I am. Love is what I do. Love is how I be. Love is what comes this way towards me. And when I live there, when I'm willing to live there, purpose just is a part of the whole thing. So expected or unexpected, I want you to expect that your purpose is right here, right now, fully present. All you got to do is open up to it and allow it to live you. And get rid of your yeah buts. Get rid of all the reasons why you think you can't live this. And if it has anything to do with money, oh my God, get rid of those excuses. Those are just excuses holding you in place. Don't let anything hold you in place. Be like Christian. Be so clear. And then I would like to believe if a piece of light comes through your absolute brightness and a brighter light comes in and says something and you go, wait a minute, listen to it. There's your purpose redefining itself. Because each one of us is on this magnificent journey of redefining who we are, what we're here to do, and who we're here to be. I happen to know that the answer to that is God. Greatness on demand. Namaste. Thank you.